You're listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. Fortunate enough to be joined by Kevin Green Sr. Hello, Kevin. How you doing, my man?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself, Mike?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Now, before we get into your son, I always want to ask parents that obviously are athletically inclined, which you clearly are, being that you had two high Division I sons. Tell the people out there a little bit about Kevin Green Sr., because I know there's some athleticism coming from you as well.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I played basketball and football younger. Pretty good basketball player in high school. So
Right. Okay.
yeah, it come from me. I was pretty good.
Okay. Now let's talk. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know this, but your other son, Michael Wright, played at Oregon. Obviously, high 4-star kid. Talk a little bit about that before we get into Kevin.
Oh yeah, Mikhail.
Right. My bad.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's in the well, it was the XFL. It's the UFL now. He had a neck injury, kind of red flagged him for the NFL, but he's working his way. He's working his way back to trying to get his opportunity.
All right, now Kevin Green. I got to say this: being in the press box, you parents are a lot more reserved than I am because, again, believe it or not, I didn't play Division I football. Hard to believe, I know. But when I was watching it, there were all kinds of times where I'm like, and I would look to Sheer next to me. I'm like, why isn't Kevin Green in? Because again, you could just tell whenever he got action, and whether that was in practice, whether that was in the spring game, whether that was in the scrimmage, the dude just gets open. The dude just makes plays. Watching that, just what was it like just knowing that, my son can help this team right now?
I mean, obviously it's hard. It's really hard. And definitely I believe Kevin will and could have helped.
Right.
One thing I know about Kev is he's a gamer. I mean, not the biggest, might not be the fastest. Kid is tough as nails. So it was pretty frustrating, but understanding this process and kind of trusting the process too. Trying to teach him how to kind of fight through a little bit of controversy, which is fine too, and understanding that Jacob was a NFL caliber receiver. You just sit back and kind of learn and try to pick up as much as possible.
What did he pick up from Jacob Cowing?
I believe, like he says, he picked up like the professionalism, like kind of learning how to be a pro, learning how to play the college game, considering Jacob played in 4 or 5 years and probably caught 300 balls. So, I mean, who else better to learn from?
Right. Okay, now let's talk about, Kevin Green comes up. When did you know, and I think every parent has an idea, there's some point where you're like, all right, my kid's a little bit different out here than the other kids that he's playing against. Did you ever have that moment where you're like, all right, Junior can do some things out here?
Yeah, I had it. I want to say he was about 11 or 12. Because actually, a lot of people don't know, Kevin grew up his first year. I put him on the line. He played like left guard and defensive end, but I wanted him to kind of get in the mix. So younger. So I want to say about 11 or 12, he started kind of like separating himself a little bit.
Okay, now he gets offered by USC, which, let's be honest here, generally in Southern California, that's the dream school for a lot of kids. When he got that SC offer, just kind of take us through a little bit, and we'll get to Arizona, obviously, but just kind of take us through a little bit what the mindset was when, wow, USC just offered my son.
It was really, really big for my family. We're mainly USC guys. We had a couple of cousins that played there at USC. My auntie graduated from USC, so it was like really surreal type of feeling.
Right. Okay. Now, so then Arizona comes calling, and again, you got to remember, and I'll give Jed this, is that he brought in a higher caliber of player. Before Jed got here, like I said, we were not used to getting kids like your son. We were not used to getting kids that were USC commits, to put it mildly. Talk a little bit about Arizona and just how they kind of got into the mix and what you liked about Arizona.
They got into the mix a little bit late. But when they jumped in, they jumped in like Jed. I had nothing but respect for him. He jumped in, and we probably talked every day for a month, probably, like real heavy, in-depth talking, and him just pretty much telling us about Arizona and what he was pretty much about, and just formed a great relationship. And once we came to the visit, and it was over from there. It was like the atmosphere, and we just kind of bought was being sold. Because we come from a program in high school where before we got to high school, they were like 2 or 3 years in a row, 3-7, and then we go in there. It's kind of like the same. It was the same structure, the same thing. We know that they were one. Arizona was 1-11, and say, okay, well, this is an opportunity for us to kind of go in there and fuse it with talent and try to turn this thing around.
All right, now let's talk about Bishop Alemany. Everybody talks about Servite, deservedly so, but let's talk a little bit about Bishop Alemany because they have definitely provided some nice players to Arizona. Obviously, your son, Ephesians Price Hawk Rhino, talk about going against, Ephesians in practice there because that obviously had to have helped him a little bit as well.
Oh, for sure. Him and Ephesians, I call him Efi.
Yeah.
Him and Efi been playing together since 9 years old.
Right.
So yeah, they would go at it every day in practice, and like me and his dad, me and Ephesians' dad would tell him, like, you can't allow days off. Like, Ephesians is gonna want to be one of the best corners. You're gonna be one of the better receivers. Like, y'all kind of gotta feed off each other, kind of really go at it, give each other some work.
All right. Now let's talk a little bit about that 2022 class, because quite frankly, it's a special class. And again, this, I've been following Arizona football since '92. So again, we've had some really good teams here, but I've never come across a group of parents. I've never come across a group of kids that is like this 2022 class, and especially the Southern California kids where, like I could ask Les Fafita about your son and he'll go off for 30 minutes about how good he is. He'll give you stories. He'll give you anecdotes, just everything. Everybody is just so humble. And at the same time, like I said, I got to give you a lot of credit because you and I DM back and forth. There was never once any complaint about anything. I would have been complaining. You just said, my son's going to keep working hard. He's going to, he'll get his time. Just talk a little bit about that bond because so many of you guys are cut from the same cloth.
Well, we all pretty familiar with one another, through whether it be youth football or 7-on-7. A lot of us know each other. We've been knowing each other 7, 8 years, 10 years, obviously before we got to the U of A.
Right.
We spend weekends pretty much, going to battle and, standing there as dads on the sideline talking, like I say, 2 and 3 weekends out of every single month for the last X amount of years. So we're all pretty familiar with one another. Like, so once we started to try to say, okay, well, we knew Noah was there. It's like, okay, that's the building block, and
right.
We'll kind of go from there, and let's kind of pat it on top. Like, let's take this show on the road a little bit.
All right. Now, what I noticed too is, Kevin starts getting some more looks once Noah takes over. The one thing that I notice about Noah and why I'm really excited about for your son next year is that everybody eats with Noah. If you get open, Noah's going to get you the ball. And I'll be honest with you, your son can get open. I mean, I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know, but anybody that was at practice, anybody that's been at games, your son can get open. I'm really excited to see that connection next year because, like I said, if he gets open, he's going to get the ball.
Yeah, for sure. I love Noah. Look, I've told you before, Noah is a young man. He's a leader of men, as I like to say. And Kevin, him and Kevin was on the scout team or the second team for a year and a half together, right, before Noah got the job. So that rapport had, it's been building. It's been there for the time they've been at U of A. Kevin told me, a long time, like I was waiting on right, Noah, kind of take over. I know, I'm comfortable with him pretty much.
Yeah. And all right, but here's also what's exciting about this receiving core is everybody knows about T-Mac. We'll get to T-Mac in a second. But listen, you got Kevin Green, you've got Malachi Riley, you've got some other dudes in there as well. These are all guys that could have gone, obviously. I mean, when you're a USC commit, you can go pretty much anywhere you want. These are all guys that have been in the program now a couple years, and it's their time. It's go time. And I think, again, people are saying, like, oh, who should you bring in the portal, this or that? I keep telling people, you already got a loaded room right here.
Yeah.
These dudes are about to break out. And like I said, between, Malachi, your son, and, some other guys, I think Kean Burnett's another dude that's going to break out. People are sleeping on some dudes that could have gone anywhere they wanted out of high school there, Kevin.
No, I totally agree. The room is loaded. The room has been pretty good the last couple of years, to be honest with you.
Right.
I believe all of those guys could have, if their numbers were called, I believe all of those guys would have got on the field and actually produced.
Right.
So I'm excited to see them as well. Like, another year, bigger, stronger, faster, with a different opportunity.
What I'm excited about too, and KB Thiel just put this in the comment, I'd like to see a little bit more rotation as well. I thought last year, listen, I get that some players are really, really good. I mean, you're not going to try to take T-Mac off the field but I'd like to see a rotation again, because you've got those three that I named, and AJ Jones can play. Obviously, there's other dudes as well. Get 4 or 5, 6 dudes in there and just keep them moving, keep them rolling, because then you keep the defense really off guard. And you know what? If somebody becomes good enough that you can't take off the field, then so be it. But man, I love that rotation. I wish they had done that last year.
Yeah, I was big on that too. I didn't understand the rotation thing, but I get all coaches do it different.
Right.
I look across the country and obviously Pac-12 football, and I see a lot of rotations. I see some guys even play 10 guys.
Right.
So like I said, I believe if any one of those guys, AJ, Malachi, Kevin, had their numbers been called, they would have been ready, as you see that they were. Like, so
talk a little bit about, and again, everybody sees it, talk a little bit about T-Mac, just kind of what he can do, because again, we talk about, we're not used to getting USC decommits to come to Arizona. We're also not used to seeing dudes like T-Mac around.
Man, T-Mac is special. T-Mac is special, and he's probably a even more special young man. I love being around the kid. He's always humble and respectful. Him and Kevin room together on the road. So I get a chance to put the phone on speaker, and I mess with both of them and talk to them on the road.
Right.
Playing. He's just a special talent. Like, man, you don't see many guys his size catch radius and things of that nature. He's just a special kid.
All right, now let's get back to Kevin for a second. The one thing that's funny, talking with a couple people in the media, the thing that I think really is impressive about him, and I think fans are about to find this out, is that some dudes just have a knack for getting open. They might not be 6'2", or they might not run a Tyreek Hill 4.24, whatever the case is, but they're always open. That's your son. That's your son. And again, like I said, I've seen it hundreds of times in practice because it's open, or in the spring. When your son, his number is called, he gets open. Has he always just had that ability and how does he go about doing it? I guess that's the question.
One thing I'll say, I believe Kevin's strongest ability is short area bursts. Like, not many guys can beat him 0 to 10 yards.
Right.
Like, he's real twitchy. I believe that comes from playing basketball. A lot of people don't know if he took basketball serious, he probably could be I know he could be a Division I point guard, to be honest with you.
Right.
He was real heavy in basketball young. So I believe that's kind of where he developed that miss you in the phone booth type of deal. So like I said, I believe that's probably his greatest strength, is that he can just get open, like, quickly, actually, too.
Right. Now, speaking of which, Jose Roman says, ask about any thoughts. Bobby Wade was probably one of the 3 or 4 best wide receivers I've ever seen here at the U of A. Thoughts on Bobby Wade, if any, as the wide receiver coach?
When they hired Bobby Wade, I don't know if you've seen me tweet out. I said, I love this. Yeah, I said, I love it because, like you just said, I come from, me and Bobby Wade are probably around the same age. I believe, what was he at U of A, around 99? Yeah, so we're all around in the same age, and I saw Bobby play. I'm a connoisseur of sports and football, so I saw him play. So I immediately got excited because here's a guy that comes in. He's the coach, but like, he's actually done this at a high level. He's just not a regular guy. Like, he's another guy that probably caught 200 or 300 passes.
Yeah. He left here as the all-time receiving leader in school history. I mean, it's funny, like, before T-Mac came around, I always thought Dennis Northcutt, who was a couple years younger than you, but still, I always thought he was the best receiver I ever saw here. But then after that, I thought it was Wade. Obviously, T-Mac is probably, but you're dealing with U of A football royalty. And when he came back, I thought of your son. I thought of just some of the dudes that I know when they get on the field. And Bobby Wade was that dude. Again, he was the state player of the year. He was another dude that could have gone pretty much anywhere he wanted. So
Right.
like I said, I was ecstatic when I saw that he was coming back.
Yeah, I definitely was really excited about that. Like I said, he can get that tutelage from somebody that has done it before and has been on a professional level. Oh, let's not forget Steptoe too, by the way. Let's not forget my man Step.
Yep, absolutely. And that's another one too. He came in here, I think out of Humble, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, and he didn't have a lot of offers. And, you look up in 5 years and he's playing for the Cleveland Browns. I
Yep.
mean, it's stuff like that. And it's also cool to see guys, because Bobby Wade was another dude. He wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest, but guess what? He had 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns as a senior. Parlays that into a 5 or 6 year career. Another guy that just kind of got open there, Kevin.
Yep, similar situations. That's why I said when I seen them hire him, I immediately I fell in love. I was like, okay, like let's go now.
All right, now I want to talk a little bit about your faith in what's going on, but first, got to get a couple reads. Kevin, have you ever been to Circle K before?
Every time I come to Arizona, I go to Circle K, sir.
My man, I knew you went to Circle K. I can tell Kevin Green went to Circle K. Now, join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K Kevin K, get it? App today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And let's see here. Some burros. I've never had some burros, but it's in Phoenix. Check it out. All kinds of good stuff. I like Mexican food. Do you like Mexican food, Kevin Green, Sr.?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Absolutely. You can't live in LA and not like Mexican food. I think we can agree.
Right. That's right. Yep.
All right. Now, let some burros cater your next meal, big or small. Order online or find one near you by visiting someburros.com. All right. The other thing I got to give you guys is, amongst many things, is stay in the process without knowing who the OC is. That's really when I was like, man, these guys really back. I mean, I knew you did, but I'm like, man, these groups really hashtag back yay.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, and I'm sure, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but Kevin loves it in Tucson.
Yeah.
He loves the U of A. He's been there a couple of years. He didn't want to go nowhere really. So I mean, it wasn't for him. He was just like, let's just see who comes in and let's just kind of back them. He's a Wildcat. So he's like, I'm not going nowhere. I will figure it out. Whoever they hire, we go trust and kind of rally behind whoever it is.
Right. And I don't think I'm speaking out of pocket here, but I'll just remember when you and I were text messaging back and forth a little bit, and you're like, Kevin wants to stay with his guys. Kevin's loyal. And that just really stuck with me, because a lot of parents, and again, like, I've been doing this a long time. A lot of parents, like, 5-6 years ago, would reach out. Why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? This and that. I've just never seen a group of parents that were just patient. They're like, okay, we'll see what's going on. And I'm always the dude, you got to do what's best for your kid. Like, and I always tell people that, like, if a kid leaves and heads off somewhere else, good. I like the transfer portal, because listen, if a coach can get up and leave, then I believe that a player should be able to get up and leave.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, so I've never understood kind of that, that idea, but like I said, just the patience that you guys showed. Again, here's what I'll say. Everybody says they know what they're going to do in a spot like that, and like random people on Twitter. You don't know until you have a Division I kid. And, and let's be honest, everybody's dreams to get to the NFL. It just is.
Right.
And so, just like I said, I can't even imagine putting myself in your guys' shoes. And like I said, you came out of it smelling like a rose, my man. Rose.
Right. I actually have one of those in my house, by the way. Mm-hmm. Rose Bowl ring from Oregon.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Yeah, but no, it's I agree. But again, we all, just like the kids talk, me and Les, or T-Mac's dad or mom, or I see Big Manu, and right. We all talk, and we all kind of came to pretty much it was no verbal type of thing, but we're here for each other pretty much. Yeah. And we wanted to try to stamp our children's legacy somewhere, like not go be a part of something. We want to create something. So I think we all kind of like, just without speaking on it, we all kind of knew what we wanted to do.
You mentioned Jacob Manu. That's another one. I mean, you talk about it. I mean, listen, when he came in, and I can't even describe just watching him, because again, he's not the biggest dude in the world, obviously. But man, you just talk about a natural leader and somebody the dudes just gravitate towards. I remember we had Greg Biggins on a while back, and he said, I don't care what anybody says. He says, this kid's going to come in there and he's going to be good. Granted, we had him for a follow-up, and he said, I didn't think he'd be this good. But there's just so much of a dog in so many of these dudes from that area, from that, like I said, that 2022 class.
Yeah, my man Greg. I love Greg, by the way.
Greg likes you a lot too.
Yeah, I love Greg. Yeah, like I mean, I guess we could say that we all just kind of over here in Southern California, they say that we are not dogs back
That's
east.
All crap.
Well, we know that for sure, and we kind of made sure that with our own, like, so
Right.
If it's a reoccurring theme with all of these kids in this class, is that, oh, they're all dogs, or you call them wolves, or they're all just super tough guys. But yeah, Jacob is he's something else, like, man, like you said, for his size, you just don't believe that this guy's gonna go out and have 100 tackles.
It's funny. I had a parent on a couple years ago, and this was great. And we were talking about the thing about the people on the East Coast don't think the West Coast has dogs. And he said, "Listen, man, I grew up on Slauson Avenue." He said, "He says, you don't grow up there and not have some inner dog in you." That was I always think of that remark when people bring that up.
And that's definitely a fact. That's definitely a fact.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Now, let's look forward a little bit to next year then. Arizona's going into the Big 12. They're going to be in contention for a Big 12 championship. Again, got to see how everything plays out. Arizona has never won, in the modern era, has never won a conference championship. Kevin, Arizona's got a real chance at that, and they had a chance at this last year if things broke right a little bit. What are you looking for next year, my man?
I'm looking to go in the Big 12 and really compete. I too, like you said, I believe we're in contention for that conference championship. And had they not changed the rules last year, I'll go on record and say I believe we would have beat UW the second time around.
Right, for sure. And here's what I always tell people too. Arizona lost to UW by 7 points. And keep in mind, that's Noah's first start. Arizona essentially gave them 14 points to start out again, first start. And then Arizona outplayed them the last 3 quarters. I would have loved to have seen Arizona against UW again because I think they would have won.
Yeah, I do too. And it would have been pretty much what the Pac-12 is. I tell people all the time, I've been saying it for years, the Pac-12 usually just beats up on the Pac-12.
Right.
Like, we don't usually go out and lose like that. We usually we've been stopping ourselves from going to the CFP, and it happened year after year. So
right.
Like I said, I believe if we would have played them again, we probably beat them.
All right, what's your take on SC going to the Big Ten? Because again, I know that everybody growing up in Southern California has a little bit of SC love. What's your thought on SC going to the Big Ten?
It'll be a transition,
right?
It's just a different style of football. We also have kids over there, Miller Moss and Jalen Smith starts at nickel. Yep. So we rooting for all of those guys too. It'll definitely be a transition though. It's just a different brand of football.
Kev, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. And everybody out there, follow Kevin Green Sr. on Twitter. Kevin Green Sr. 83, if I'm not mistaken. This is correct.
Yes, sir.
He's a great follow. And like I said, good dude. He's one of the good guys. And again, we're blessed to have dudes like you, my guy. And I can't thank you enough. And we will be in touch.
All right. I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on. And everybody bear down.
Bear down. Can we get a back the A?
Back the A, baby.
My man, Kevin Green Sr. Thanks again, buddy. Appreciate you, dude.
All right. Have a good one, Mike. Thank you.
Buddy. All right. That was awesome. Kevin Green Sr. for the win. We got to back the A out of that one as well. All right. Let's get to some reads, and then we're going to talk about some Dino Babers stuff, my friends. Dino Babers. But first, BetMGM Sportsbook app. Now, you might say to yourself, where can I bet on stuff? Thanks for asking. You got a great point here. The BetMGM Sportsbook app. Sign up for BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through a BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app. For at least $5, you will receive 158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. All right, now we're going to talk. Listen, Kevin Green Sr. is a lot cooler guy than I am. By the way, The hat has been found. For all of you out there that were concerned, I appreciate the well wishes. I found the hat in my guest closet, and that's where it was. I can't believe this entire time. And again, all you out there that were saying, Mike, I'll pitch in for a hat. I didn't want a hat. No, Kobe Thiel, this is wrong. You guys are wrong. This is the coolest hat there is. I do not want another hat. This hat will be here. This hat will be here. And I didn't want another hat. I was just going to have to comb my hair if I couldn't find the hat. So we found the hat. All right. Now, green is a lot cooler, dude, than I would be. Because again, one thing that drove me wild about last year's team, and again, I get that Arizona won a lot of games. I didn't understand why there wasn't any rotation. Because again, if anybody went out to practice, you knew this dude just gets open. Again, I'm just going to keep saying it. Kevin Green Jr. Kevin Green Jr. just gets open. And that's where, and that's part of it with football. I never understand. And he and Speedy were the two where I'm like, all right, what are we doing here? Why isn't he out? Jason is sleeping, by the way. So now there is a watch party, like you guys said, but now let's talk about some other things. Dino Babers. All right, here's where we're at with Dino Babers, the OC. In that Dino Babers, if Dino Babers wants the job as the OC, he's going to be the OC. I'm totally cool with it. Jose L. Roman Jr. with a question. Jose L. Roman Jr. Oh, hold on just a second. Let me see here. Is Brennan a play caller? No, he's a CEO. So again, whoever you hire as the OC, they've got to be really, really good. And I think that Kevin Green Sr., Dino Babers would be really good. Just to remind you all, Dino Babers has long-standing connections to the U of A and Dick Tomey, obviously, and he was the OC of the best offense in school history, my friends, and the best team in school history. 12-1. Arizona finished 4th in the nation. It was a surreal year, and it was the most Arizona thing ever that there wasn't a college football playoffs, because I think Arizona could have won it all that year. But I would imagine, again, that if Dino Babers wants the job, I would imagine this is going to be announced in the next 48 hours or so, something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, it's not done, but it's his job if he wants it. Also, be on the lookout. There's going to be some really, really good news breaking anytime now. BBN. Big Bill Norton should be putting out a video announcing his return. We want BBN back. Listen, Arizona without BBN would be like me without my hat. We need BBN back. He's rare around these parts to see somebody who is literally 6'5", 355 of solid muscle. His thighs are essentially way the same as my body. BBN, we need BBN back. And I think we're going to get some very good news on BBN. Now, a couple other things then. Big Bill Norton for president. We love Big Bill Norton for president. Big Bill going Big 12? Yes, absolutely. Now, with Babers, though, I think that would be a nice little coaching staff. And then you would have Dino Babers, who I think would be totally fine as the OC. And then you got Bobby Wade as wide receiver. You got Oglesby in as the O-line coach. Then you've also on the defensive side of the ball, you're starting to figure that one out. You got Dwayne Aquina. Also, you got Alonzo Carter on the offensive side. Things are starting to matriculate out. I like this. Like I said, I like this a great deal. I'm more than okay with where things are going. But again, Brent Brennan gets it, and that's where it's going to be. Now, looking ahead a little bit, people are asking me about the portal, what's going on, this and that. Here's all I'm going to say. I know the Prysock and Davis are in the portal. I get it. But that does not mean that they're gone. There are some dudes that you're like, all right, you're probably heading out. When Jonah Coleman left, Erica, by the way, very good job trailing him on social media. Erica Day, follow Erica Day on Twitter, by the way. She's very, very good. But you knew that Jonah Coleman was bouncing. And with Takario and Prysock, like I said, I can't promise you anything. This is all fluid, but there is definitely a chance that Arizona can get both of them back. So we'll find that one out. I would imagine that we will find that one out sooner than later. So we again, that's a good one. Now, a guy that we haven't talked a ton about that we need to talk about is Kean Burnett, my friends. Kean Burnett. All right, now. I think that Kean Burnett is going to break out in a big way this coming year. Keep in mind, peeps, we talked about USC decommits. Kean Burnett was the also a USC decommit. He was he's a dude that looks different. Big Chester, obviously. U of A, great. We like that a great deal. All right, now, hey, come. Let's see here. Now, also. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about. We're probably gonna have an emergency broadcast about the audit that's coming out. Listen, it's not going to affect Arizona football or basketball on the field, but it's probably not going to be great. But again, we are a community here. We all back the A. We back the A. And again, it's still a good time. We could be OSU or ASU and not have anything. All right, Zona Germany, great name. Who is the best San Jose State guy we need? All right. They have a pass rusher from Mesa who is very, very good. I believe 7.5 sacks last year. Would 1,000% take him. He's good. And you've got a running back as well who rushed for about 900 yards on about eight and a half yards per carry, something like that. You need to, Arizona would love to get both of them. And you also have a wide receiver that has hit the portal that, again, I don't necessarily need wide receivers for but listen, if you want to bring another one in that caught for 800 yards, cool. Yeah, the audit is likely to be released tomorrow. So again, probably going to have an emergency broadcast on that to be able to talk about everything that's going on there. But again, either way, that will not affect Arizona basketball or football on the field. So any of your ASU friends, if you have ASU friends, tell them we will not listen to any of this. Now, let's see here. Raymond Polito, this is an interesting one. Everybody out there, be nice to Robert. Robert's his pops. Robert is a good dude. He is, obviously, Arizona football's world was kind of lifted out from under him. He wasn't part of that 2022 class, so it's kind of a solo endeavor. But Robert Polito is a good dude. So again, people be nice to him on Twitter. He doesn't deserve, again. Most of us, including me, do not have, not that I know of, have a Division I kid. But yeah, Robert, like I said, Robert's a good dude. Just give him his space. He's a good dude. Yes. With Robbins, here's where I'm at with Robbins. Ollie Farhang. This is great. Yes. All right. I know this might sound a little bit outlandish, but I do want to get Ollie Farhang on later in the week. The great Ollie Farhang. Arizona could do a lot worse. I'll put it to you like that. Ollie Farhang is he's a great fundraiser. He's been around sports his whole life. All the boosters, all the donors love Ollie. If you don't like Ollie, then that's probably a you issue as well. Ollie, like I said, he knows his way around the sports world. He's also a lawyer. Listen, if you debate before the Ninth Circuit, you know what you're doing. So again, I like Ollie a great deal. We will talk more about this as well. All right, wait. All right, the question is, did Erica say Tacario and Ephesians are coming back? I don't know. Maybe Erica knows. All right, now, I would love to have Polito back. So again, if Polito comes back, we welcome him back with open arms, fam. Again, sometimes it's just difficult. People go through difficult situations. We welcome him back. And not only do we welcome him back with open arms because he's a good dude. Now, one thing that we also welcome back as well is OGs. All right, now you might say to yourself, Mike, OGs, you're always talking about this. What can OGs do for me? All right, OGs is here for you. It's for the people, by the people. To learn more about OGs gummies and where you can find them, head on over to ogsbrands.com. All right, ogsbrands.com. All right, now, let's talk a little bit about Arizona basketball before we sign off, because again, maybe we are a football school. Who knows? But Arizona basketball plays Oregon State tomorrow. Arizona needs to beat the snot out of Oregon State. I don't want close games against bad teams. Listen, Arizona's better than these guys, or better than Oregon State. They need to take the Beavers out and they need to throw them into the wilderness. And on top of that, follow Digital Dam on Twitter. He's a very good follow. He's very, very funny. Yes, back the A-Ray. I am happy with my hat. It was a big problem for me. I was not happy at all about the hat being gone. The hat is back. The hat is safe. Now, Arizona absolutely needs Tocario didn't sign with Texas. Now, Arizona also needs to beat Oregon. We are going to have a watch party, my friends, a watch party. Maybe you can meet the great Erica Day there. She will be there, as will Kobe Thiel. I will be there as well. Downtown Tap and Bottle, my friends. Downtown Tap and Bottle. Arizona, Oregon. I think that Oregon is the one team in the conference that I look at them and I'm like, all right, they can 1000% hang with Arizona if they're fully healthy and they're both hitting on all cylinders. Arizona would love to get a split, but split. Arizona would love to get a sweep, but either way, they need to beat the snot out of Oregon State tomorrow. Okay, now let's see here. I missed it. Where was the hat? All right, great question. Back the hat. The hat was in my guest room's closet. I was vacuuming the other day and I threw a bunch of stuff in the closet, including the hat. And for whatever reason, I didn't think to look in there. I looked in there this morning because I was getting a different pair of shoes out to go work out. And lo and behold, the hat was there. I am incredibly happy about the hat. I appreciate all the kind words because, again, me without the hat. Oh, my date did not. She put it in there, didn't she? Well, every now and then, I like being casual, but every now and then when I go out on a date, I actually have to dress up a little bit. So I don't dismiss that possibility, but I don't think it's likely, though, either. All right. On that note, though, the Danny Gonzalez hire. Love it. Danny Gonzalez coming in if vacuuming sucks. I see. That was very funny. I like the Danny Gonzalez hire. Coming in as special teams coordinator and as a linebackers coach. Yes, please. Listen, I don't know. I don't want him as a coordinator, but if I can get a former head coach to be in that position, I'm totally cool with that. And I would absolutely, I'm totally cool with it. I'm more than happy with how this staff is playing out. It's going to be fun. Mike on OGs when he forgot about the hat. You could be right, David Stith. You could be right. All right. On that note, though, you guys are absolutely fantastic. You guys make it. The hat is back. I appreciate all the well marks. And on top of that, Kevin Green Sr., the great Kevin Green Sr., follow him on Twitter, Kevin Green Sr. 83. He's another one of the really, really good ones. And back the A-Ray. All right, back the A-Ray. 3 head coaches on one team is awesome. Yes. And another guy to follow because he's got the coolest name on Twitter, back the A-Ray. He is man of the rally sock. All right, everybody out there, no matter what the audit has tomorrow, either way, and nothing beats being an Arizona fan. I love all of you. Bear down, back the A. We will be back with you tomorrow. Thanks for making me look way better than I should.
We all silly like the mayor.